We are back live on the Strip. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. I've got my producer Jim Dallas, co-host Brian Ichikawa with the RatePro.com. We're just talking about people moving to Florida. Brian's actually doing a $3 million loan for my client right now that's selling here. He's going to be buying there. He got his loan handled. We actually just closed a deal up in South Lake Tahoe. That was going to be my little segue in with the Bobby Kahn about your position on horses. So 2 weeks ago, I drove up there for the final walkthrough up there, and many people who have only flown to Reno and they're city folk, they're down here, they don't take the 296 over to the 395 and realize how many wild horses we have here. And I know it's on your platform quite a bit. I worked in Yellowstone. I worked in the stables. I get the bit, the bridle, the head strap. I brush them out, get them up for tours and do it. I've lived on 900 head cattle home when I was a child. Yeah. So it's in my blood. I sell luxury real estate. I've got my cowboy hat and my Air t-shirt is in my branding photo. I actually have it on my page. So yeah, that's me. That's who I am. I wear a tie here and there, but most times I'm kind of casual. I'll wear boots and I wear square toe because I'm a working guy. Tell me about that. So you're a dapper looking guy. You're always dressed to the nines and everything. You're out, your energy. You've got all these stories, but I see you in boots. I know that you're paired up. Tell us a little bit about wild horses and why that's something that you're a proponent for.
Well, I mean, so Nevada has the 50% of the wild horses population there, okay? And like anything else, our government makes laws, but then they go back and they violate them themselves, okay? In 1971, President Nixon signed the Wild Horse and Burros Act, which dedicated 55 million acres to the wild horses because the wild horse population dwindled from 2 million down to 27,000. So what we did was those 27,000 horses were supposed to be managed by the BLM, and that was it. But over time, the BLM has taken the land, siphoned it off, gave grazing rights to ranchers and whatever not. And the population of horses went from 27,000 to 90,000, which is not a lot of horses at this point on, let's just say, 30 million acres at this point. But what happens is the ranchers want to get rid of the horses and stuff. Yep, that's our commercial with Don Oliveri.
Yeah.
And what happened is now they want all the horses gone. Now basically what we do is more than 50% of the wild horses are sitting in prisons. They're giant prisons. I went up to Reno and Winnemucca, and basically we just round up these horses with helicopters. A lot of these horses end up they get killed and injured because they're scared shitless. Excuse me, scared. They're scared.
They're scared.
Sorry about that. Okay, they're scared. They get killed in trailers. They break their necks. Then the ones that don't, they go in these places. They get sick. Next thing you know, they're ending up in the slaughter pipeline. It's costing us $300 million a year almost between rounding up the horses, housing the horses, shipping them out to slaughter pipelines. And now what we're finding is a lot of these horses, and a lot of people say, well, how does this affect me?
Yes.
It doesn't affect me. I live in Las Vegas,
so
right?
People have no idea how many wild horses and burros we have.
Absolutely. Now, here's how it affects you. These wild horses are going through the slaughter pipeline. They go to Mexico. Those horses, some of them are turning around and coming right back in here in trailers with illegal immigrants. Trafficking. The narco traffickers are using them to bring human beings back in here. On top of that, now you're finding horses that are coming in that they stuffed drugs in them and brought them back over the border again. These are BLM wild horses that were supposed to be protected, and they're bringing drugs back in, and those drugs are hitting our streets. And now, 20 different states. There's this report I published on my page, and I actually did a story about it. It was published in the Blaze, and Glenn Beck reposted it. You're finding horse meat mixed in with regular beef because the cost of beef is $1,600 a head. A BLM horse you could buy for $125. So what these guys are doing is they're taking it, they mix it in, they fluff up the beef, and now your taco meat could be mixed in it. And there's places in Nevada that were caught selling it. There's a video, actually I have a whole folder of a guy selling horse meat. He's literally making videos of him chopping up the horse and then making meals and selling it here in Nevada. So that's how it affects you. You may not be a horse lover, but you know what? These are our horses that were supposed to be protected, and now it's affecting our food, it's affecting the streets, the drugs, and human trafficking. So I want to put an end to the wild horse roundups. I want to return the horses. I teamed up with Dawn Oliveri from the show Yellowstone and Lioness. She has a great invention. She's got a great plan where we can manage the herds. The ranchers can be happy so they can keep their grazing rights, because that's the biggest thing. The ranchers want the horses gone. Well, we can maintain the herds. We can push the horses off someplace else, manage them, and save the taxpayers $300 million a year. That's what I want to do.
There you go. Yeah, we're a real estate show. When we had you on the first time, we started talking about all the lands, right? We're the state that has the most in federal BLM, and who else owns it? Airport Authority, all these places that own all this land. And right now the process is so slow. Usually like why not cut the tape right now and get it going?
Yeah.
And you're hearing it on both sides. It's funny because you hear Democratic side talking about it, everybody talks about it, and then you drive out and there's land everywhere, and you hear about the water. They always seem to find the water. What do you think about doing? What do you think about it? I call it attainable housing because we are in the top 10%, the top 10 most expensive houses now, right? If you look on a map of prices, it's not. Do you remember when Nevada used to be a pretty darn affordable place?
It used to
in
be.
so many ways. Our gas prices, we were just talking about. I don't know where the drill baby drill went because I remember the day that there was the inauguration. I buy my gas at Sam's Club.
Yep.
It's $3.15. I told my kids $3.15. I paid $3.85 today, and I passed 2 gas stations.
$4.29.
They're way up there, right?
$4.35.
And
Yeah.
That's my Chevron.
I'm driving
Yeah.
a Porsche Turbo S tonight. I put super in that. That was up to $4.50, right?
Yeah.
It's not cheap anymore. Nevada's not quite as cheap. We're talking about
No.
making Nevada great again, the Strip great again. Prices are out of control. What can somebody like you do?
Okay, so let's talk about housing, okay? The
Yep.
BLM, it's federal, right? We hand out bailouts to everybody else. Well, this is the bailout that I want for Nevada. We want the BLM to just say, we're going to just take a chunk of land and hand it to the state. At that point, we could take that land. You know, you can't have a workforce for casino workers and all these other industries if you don't have affordable housing. Where are these people supposed to live? If we take that land, now we can do mixed use. We can have housing for veterans. We can have affordable housing for the casino workers. You know, back in the day in Atlantic City, the Casino Control Commission and the casinos got together and they built an entire community of homes for their casino workers. And you lived there. You basically rented to buy. And eventually you end up becoming a homeowner, right? As long as you didn't screw up or something like that, you could do things like that where you can bring affordable housing back here so that these people that are working in these casinos can afford it, because somebody making $50,000 a year can't pay $2,500 a month rent in Summerlin, right? They can't afford it. So where are they gonna go? They're gonna go out to Prim. You could be able to take the land back. When it comes to water, there's so many things that we could do between pipelines, desalination plants, and bring the water in here, okay? And then we have to go and negotiate because Colorado's wasting water, Arizona's wasting water, California's wasting water, but we are the ones that manage the best out of everybody. We're the ones that can't wash our cars on this day, can't water our lawns. We have the fake AstroTurf outside, but none of the other states have to do any of that stuff. So there's things that we can go out there and do, but nobody is going out and they're fighting. Like when it comes to the water, there's 5 people on that board that make all the decisions. Why aren't the feds going in there and say, hold on, well, let's take over this whole thing? And as a congressman, you can go fight for that. Our Dina Titus should have done that. Stephen Horsford should have done that. And I don't even know what Susie Lee, what she's doing, but she should have done something too. You know, no one's doing it. No. And yeah, we need the housing. We need at least another 20% of that land to make a big difference.
So how do we do that? So we've talked about right now it's a process where they put it out for this appraisal system and all this. The simplest way is to put it up for public bid.
That's it.
In a short order. 90 days, all these big companies come out, they make the bids, that's what the value is.
No, you know what we should do? Forget the public bid. The federal government should be at this point say, okay, you know what? We're just going to hand this land over at basic standard value. That's our bailout. That's Nevada's bailout. We basically take that land. There's no bid because when you bid, next thing you know, you have to build $1 million homes on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Take it. At this point, President Trump, we helped you win, right? Well, we need your help at this point. We need our bailout. We want 20% of this land handed over to the state of Nevada. And then just hand it over at fair market value. That's it. And at that point, we divvy it up and then developers can buy it, but we take a portion of that land that goes for veterans. We're going to build veterans homes. You know, we're going to help
That
out.
certainly
Yeah.
would be a key to getting some truly affordable housing, attainable housing, is
Yeah.
have it gifted that way where it's low cost, it has to be mandated, it's
Absolutely.
going to be in the lower percentage of the
No
cost.
kickbacks, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
No games.
And we keep talking about it, but I sure like to see it because we just don't have it.
But somebody needs to fight.
Let's talk about something fun. You are a real car guy. Brian's a real car guy. Jim loves cars. We all love cars. We got Seamantown. You went today. I'm going to go tomorrow. Brian hasn't passed. He hasn't gone yet. I'm going to go early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm going to be there tomorrow too. I'm going to be in and out.
Tell people what SEMA is. It's absolutely amazing.
So SEMA, what it originally used to be was like basically the custom car convention, like, you know, for accessories and all that stuff, and then it's just blown into everybody's there. At this point, that convention center, it takes up every single building. Every hall is full.
It is full.
And everybody, I mean, from manufacturers are there with their new cars that they've customized, to the wheel guys, to the body wraps, to everybody's there. It is one of the coolest experiences you'll ever see. You're going to see cars there that you've probably never seen. It's a fun time. You better bring your walking shoes because you're walking, and it's overflowing. I was there today. I don't know if you watch it. Did you ever watch the show Unique Rides growing up? back in the day?
I've seen a lot of shows.
Okay, yeah. So my friend who was who was a host of that show, he was in town.
Appreciate Ty Court Beat, our partner. We're going to talk about them a little bit more. We're going to have them on again with us next week. We're talking with Bobby Kahn for Congress.com, or find out the real Bobby Kahn on Instagram. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We are back on the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour right here on the Las Vegas Strip with Jim Dallas, my co-host Brian Ichikawa at the RatePro.com. He can hook you up all over the country. I've mentioned multiple times, just closed a deal for me in South Lake Tahoe about 2 weeks ago. Florida, California, Oregon. He has the best financing now. We're going to talk about it at the end of the segment. He has a new program where I can tell you, you will not beat his rate. It's not going to make him real popular with a lot of other loan officers, but you cannot beat his rate. And he does private money, multi-million dollars, $10 million deals, apartments. He is my co-host and my lender of choice. Appreciate it. We've got Bobby Kahn. The guy is absolutely everywhere. So when I reached out to you, I send people Instagram messages and they won't reply to me. And I'll be pretty prolific. I'll just sit there and I'll hit it. The first day I sent it to you, I saw you doing a car video, and I saw you, and I read for a little bit. I text you like 7 or 8 in the morning. You text me back in like 4 or 5 minutes. I said, hey, I saw your platform. Maybe you'd like to be a guest. You are a real car guy. Brian and I have got Italy service. We've got our broker's license. You know, we're selling Ferraris. What do we have, Brian, right now? We've got an F355 Spider. We've got a 308 we're brokering. I've got a Turbo S Panamera. Got a Boxer S.
I like a 355.
I got an Aston Martin DB9 sitting in my driveway that is sleek. I feel
coupe
like
or Volante?
James Bond. What is it? I've got a coupe.
It's a coupe.
Got a
okay.
coupe. It's
What
sharp.
color?
Graphite. It's sharp. It's just it's pretty classic look. And I thought, which one should I come down with Bobby? But I brought the Turbo. So we're broken, but
you should brought the DB9. I like a DB9.
I thought you'd probably like
I've
it
had
better
a bunch
than
of
the
them.
Panamera, but it's pretty sharp. Can't go wrong with either one. But you're a real car guy. I've seen your cars. You had a GT, Porsche GT.
Carrera GT.
Carrera
I've
GT.
had every kind of
Amazing
Lamborghini, 12-cylinder, every kind of Ferrari you can think of. I've bought and sold, you name it. I mean, Duesenbergs, Packards. I'm a big Cadillac guy myself too. I love everything. You know,
I mean too. I like supercars, but at the same time, I like 63 split windows, like the old Cadillacs. I like baby birds, big birds.
Cars are art.
They really are, and they take us back to the time you're younger than me. But you know, we all got to go. Those cars were our freedom. We didn't have Google. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have cell phones.
No,
get in the car, go
cars are
cruising
just-
on a Friday night.
My first car was a '67 Impala.
Oh, okay. There's nothing wrong.
Beautiful.
Listen, I love
That
Impalas.
Beautiful car.
I love Impalas and Caprices. One of my favorite body style Caprices is an '89 Caprice Classic, right?
Yeah.
I've had a couple of those. You know, it's funny. I'm taking my wife out on a date when we first started dating. I'm driving a brand new Rolls Royce Phantom, and all of a sudden this guy drives past me in a 560 SEL '89, right? I made a U-turn, skipped the date. My wife's like, where are we going? She was my girlfriend at the time. Turned around and chased the guy down in the parking lot. I said, I want to buy your car. He looks at me and he's like, you're driving a brand new Rolls Royce. You want my hoopty? I said, absolutely I do. I took the hoopty, bought it right there, drove that home, left the Rolls. It's like,
I definitely like all those cars. So you were at SEMA today. Did you do some videos? I didn't see much on you.
No, I have way too much content. Yeah, I got to post it.
Way too much content. So we're going to go tomorrow. They got the drifting there. This is the first year ever. How long SEMA been going, Brian? 20 plus years.
Yeah.
This is the first time they're actually opening up to the public on the 7th. And I'll tell
On
you,
Friday.
it is the hardest to get ticket. The credentials. I had to actually, if I try to bring anybody, I've got to give their payroll tickets. I had to put my business license, my broker's license, my insurance, everything to get a darn ticket from there. I used to sneak in on other people's passes. This is the second year. I'm going to go tomorrow. I wanted to go the first day.
Yeah.
I know people that I follow are all there. It is the big thing in the world's one. It's also one of the biggest events. And you've been talking about making Vegas great again. You and I both follow Pauly C.
Vegas Policy.
Vegas
yeah,
Policy.
guy,
He
yeah.
actually came out and did an event with Brian and I and posted a lot.
Oh,
With
yeah.
a million
Yeah,
views
okay.
off it.
Yeah.
Came out to our $6 million world's coolest race car track house. But
Yep.
he follows a lot of the
You
casinos.
didn't invite me.
I didn't know you at that time.
Well, now you
We're
do.
going to invite you to the next one.
We got
See
Santa
what's
Claus coming later this year.
We do have Santa Claus.
Listen.
That was one of the things I texted you recently. And by the way, Bobby replies very quickly to text. He invites me to many things. I need to go to more. You are out there all the time.
You have to be.
We're going to invite you out. We passed out 125 pies to all our supercar customers and things on the 26th from 11 to 2 at Italy Service this week. Maybe you'll stop by.
Okay.
That's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. But you've been talking about making Vegas great again. Our prices have gotten so high. We heard the CEO of MGM says, we pushed our profitability too high. Now it's coming back and snapping back. We're watching these bad lease deals where bean counters and people that wanted to fleece some of these companies to these crazy
I'm
hedge
gonna
fund
talk about
deals
this.
where they've done, I don't know what the solution is, but what they've done is sold the property and leased it back at
Yes,
absorbent
so
rates.
VC and
Some
BlackRock.
of these top executives and different investors fleece, take some money out, they get rich, they got their golden parachutes, and we're left now to a point where if you don't sell a $26 bottle of water at the whatever casino was selling those just to break even, their rents
It's
are
not
up
working.
1.3 million a day just for rents.
Yep.
What Vegas great were these casinos. All the reasons to go here. It's kind of sad to see
We've
where we're
lost
going,
it.
and I think if the trajectory stays down, we know that we're down 9% on
Yeah.
on
Tourism.
On tourism, and yes, the casino count is high. The money, they're still making money, but the little people that bus tables, people like me that would work in a casino
They're
when I was
hurting.
younger, they're hurting. They don't have that traffic count. What can we do to make Vegas
So
great again?
here's what I've been talking about this, and then like all of a sudden it just blew up. I made a video about this a while ago. So here's the problem, okay? The Casino Control Commission and these politicians and these corporations basically fleeced Vegas, okay?
Yes, they
These
did.
deals should have never happened. They should have never been allowed to open. Caesars and MGM should have never been able to own so many casinos. When they bought all those casinos, they turned it into Walmart. We're now just another number on a spreadsheet. So they basically had this genius idea that we're going to focus to the high-end customer and forget everybody else. We're going to forget the locals. They jacked up the prices, but at the end of the day, when you turn it into Disneyland, people aren't going to come. Here's the story, like the crabs, right? The crab comes out once a year. Comes out, if you take both its arms, he's not coming back next year. But if you take one, he goes back into the water, comes back next year with two arms again. You have a little one and a big one. But now, these people used to keep coming, they would spend money, they had cheap entertainment, cheap food, cheap hotel rooms. They had a great time, they left, they talked about it. We did away with that. We got rid of the independent operators, right? I can't tell you how many messages I get and say Vegas was great back in the day. Even people
Bring back the mob.
That's what
Right.
everybody says to me.
Oh,
like
sure.
if you watch my video, I made a video and I got 1.1 million views the other day, and every other comment was bring back the mob, right? We need independent operators. And when Hornbuckle goes on the on his earnings call last week, I said, "You're the man in charge. You're the man that's getting $40 million a year. You know what you should do? MGM should start dumping these properties, take the cash back, buy the land that they're sitting on, and go back to. They wanted to build an empire. They went out and bought all these properties, but they can't manage them. They're mismanaging them. If you walk into any MGM property right now, it's dirty. Bathrooms are dirty. Carpets are dilapidated. Service is horrible.
Service is down.
Service is down. There's no more valet guys. You have 3 valet guys when you need 15. They're not making the tips. They're fleecing everybody, but the employees are getting harmed. They're not getting the tips. The waitresses aren't getting the tips because $26 cheeseburger, I'm not going to tip her $20. I'm going to tip her $3. And the town is hurting. The people are hurting. You know what? See, I hope to God Caesars goes bankrupt because I want the independent operators to come back and pick up a casino. One guy buys one casino, another guy buys another casino, and they'll take care of it because that's their baby. If you go to Derek Stevens' property, right? He's walking through the property. He knows the dealers. He knows the customers. If you walk through the plaza, you see Jonathan Jossel walking around, shaking hands. They know it. They take care of those properties like it's their own baby, like Steve Wynn did. MGM, when are you ever going to see Hornbuckle walking through the properties unless he's got an event and a photo shoot? And I actually made a video right before I came here, and I'm going to tag Hornbuckle in it and say, maybe we should have a sit down because I'll tell you everything you're doing wrong, and if you say you're doing it wrong, let's fix it then. Step aside. Start selling some properties. That's what you have to do. And one of the things I'm going to fight for is 0 taxes on gambling winnings. So that way what it does is it's a shot in the arm for people. When people come in and they gamble, right now they're not tipping anybody. But if they can go out there and they can, they'll tip the dealer, they'll tip the valet guy. They might go to the club, spend some money there. Depending on their jackpot, they might go to the jewelry store and buy a Rolex. They might go buy a car. It's another way to put money back in the economy. We have to also cut back some of this red tape. Like we have the cash reporting laws. It's $10,000 today. In 1971, that law made sense because you could have bought a house for 10 grand and a car for 3 grand. Today, you can't. Let's increase that to 100,000, and that's less red tape and less paperwork that these casinos have to do. They're bogged down with it. In the last 12 years, Dina Titus has done nothing to sit there and deregulate. We have laws in the books right now that are strangling these casinos. These guys are spending billions of dollars to get regulated. Meanwhile, online gambling places that are offshore don't have to do any of that stuff, and they're siphoning off money that these casinos should be making, like SARS and all that. You know what? Let's put technology in place, simplify their life, and instead of treating the casinos like criminals, where basically these people are afraid to make a move because they don't want to end up on the wrong side of the FBI because something happened. We can peel back a lot of this regulation and let them be free. Let them go out there and innovate. Let them invest in the community and let people come in. And if another 1 million people a month spend $200 because they now obviously start reducing the prices, that's $200 million to the bottom line every month.
Our guest is Bobby Kahn for Congress, running for CD1 coming up. We're almost to that election season. For you, it's already election season. Typically, for a lot of people, it's right after the new year going into this next one. We just saw what happened with Adami. We've seen a little bit of a rush. You're going to have a real fight going forward after the beginning of the year. When I come back, I want to talk about one of your things that's on your platform, which is cutting red tape for businesses here in Nevada. We're going to take a little break. We're going to come back and talk with Bobby Kahn for Congress.com, or find him on Instagram at the real Bobby Kahn. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour.
Yeah. You're right. Taxi drivers aren't getting tips. Limo guys aren't getting tips. A lot of these limo companies are hurting too, because before, when the casinos would send business to there, they're not. And because a lot of the valet guys have to now compensate, what's happening is they're actually splitting the tips with the drivers, and the companies aren't being told that their car's out on the road right now, and the driver's off the, he's off the radar. He goes and does a ride for $50 or $100. He gets $25. The valet guy's getting $25, and they have to do this stuff because that's the only way that they're going to make money right now. And the guys that own the limo companies, they're hurting when they used to be good. Like I got a phone call from 2 strip club owners this past week. And they're like, "We love what you're talking about." And he said, "Let me just tell you, we used to get business from these casinos. Now the only casinos sending us business are the independent guys. MGM doesn't send us business. CC's doesn't send us business." He goes, "All those guys stopped." He goes, it was the guy who was from Peppermint Hippo. He said, "We're getting business from Sahara and Strat, but the other guys won't send us business."
Make strip clubs great again.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but it's.
I left a lot of dollars. Crazy Horse too. I'll tell you that. But that was many moons ago. But
Crazy Horse too, yeah, they tore that place
they tore it
down.
down.
Yeah.
They made the new bear one. I like that little bit smaller joint. I know it's on there. My wife's listening.
Go to Chicas Bonitas.
Hi,
Right?
Mrs. Husel.
Jeez, Bonitas.
No, but you know what? What's happening is also, at the end of the day, and I explained this to the chairman of the Republican Party yesterday. I was on a call with him, and I said, "Do you understand that the Republican Party seems to forget that what makes Sin City Sin City?" I said, "These people that work in the